expect to refer kids there that have been abusive. It's not a good match because this is about engaging the youth in working with other youth and not just trying to single out some. The parents get education around media violence and literacy workshops about what the kids are learning in school. Not all attend. We provide 4th-hour workshops, webinars, and then I mentioned the homework assignments. And then we have American versions, as I mentioned, where we take the you out of things like behavior and color, neighbor. Secret is, I was born down the road here in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, but I'm an American in Canadian clothing, I guess. I've been up there so long, I'm used to it. So I don't know, do I have a Canadian accent? Some people say it.
A little bit.
Little? Oh, really? Eh?
Say flash.
We also recognize the importance of including all youth, seeing themselves in the curriculum, and include same-sex relationship myths and facts and examples. Again, it's very important that all of these issues be normalized and discussed as opposed to objectified. So let me give you a couple of video examples. The first one, which is recorded a few years ago when we got permission to go into the classroom and tape a lesson, because we normally aren't allowed to sit in there and observe. But we did this, and it'll give you a quick idea of how you teach 9th grade boys. This was a gender segregated class because it's gym class. Some are combined, some aren't. How do you teach this basic concept? And this is the basic of all, naming the violence.
Gentlemen, inside your envelope, you have 2 sort of different types of things. One is you have the headings of the 5 different types of violence or abuse. What
You are my friend.
I want you to do in just a minute, you are going to take those headings and you're going to tape them on the top of your section of board. Then what I want you to do is read each scenario within your group, read them together, and decide which heading, which type of violence it is, and tape it underneath the heading on the board. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes and then we'll discuss it.
Because there is sexual. That could be physical.
You're very observant. That's okay. Okay, gentlemen, one of the first things I want you to do, and some of you have already done this, take a look around the room at each group's headings, how many they have underneath each heading. I know it'll be hard to see. Some of you will be able to see actually which ones they put under each heading. First thing I notice, what do you guys notice? You can see. It's
all different?
They're all different, aren't they? Different numbers under each heading, and I'm sure if we look close that some people would have some headings under another.
So that's one of the earliest lessons they have. That was an ESL, English Second Language class, by the way. So the kids were a bit older. Some of them were in 10th grade. But the whole idea is you have to start with that basic idea to get them discussing the violence. The next one I'm going to show you is a video. There it is. Some of the skills videos that we do We involve drama classes of older kids because the grade 9s, grade 8s, they like to see kids similar in age. They don't want adults showing it, but they're too young and too inexperienced to do it themselves just yet. They need some examples, right? Just basic modeling. And modeling, as you know, has to be a careful match between their age, not telling them too much or being too competent, but not doing it wrongly either. This video was done by an actor group, so they're not actually in the school. Typically they are. But in Toronto, we had a youth group that really wanted to make these tapes, and in 2 days they made 56 different scenes. The scenes are repeated. Usually you're going to see what we call a combination, because the kids, by curriculum, are required to learn refusal skills, delay skills, negotiation skills. So you're going to see a combination of some of these here, but you're going to see some things not going as right as you might want. It's not perfect, and that gives the kids something to talk about as well. So.
I'm calling this girl all day, she not even pick up the phone. Watch when I see this girl. Yo, get over here, man. Where you been, huh? I've been calling you all day.
I've been at home.
You're talking shit. At home doing what? Why couldn't you answer my phone if I called you all night and day?
Baby, I'm trying to tell you, I've
Don't
been at
baby
home
me.
studying for my
You been at home
exam.
studying for exam? Who's more important, school or me? You talking shit, why you hesitating? I thought you said you love me.
I do love
Yeah, you do love me. You
just
talking
trying to-
shit, man.
I'm
You're a scallywag, man.
What's going on, man? Why you all hyping up on your girl for it?
Cause she's scandalous.
She's been studying for her exam all this time.
She's talking
You
shit,
can see
man.
she's been in the
She's
library.
trifling.
Come on, you can't be calling her all that stuff. You know she loves you, man.
Yo, I'm gonna show you what's really
Dog,
good.
you've been drinking, dog. I could smell it all on you.
You all have nothing.
Yo, you know, calm down. And besides, you know you got work at 5 o'clock. You know if the manager sees that you're late one more time, he's gonna fire you.
I'm gonna deal with this after, alright? I'm gonna deal with
We're gonna talk about this after, alright? Let's calm down.
Alright,
Let's calm down, man. Take it easy. Yeah. Sinead, you don't need this, you know. Sinead, can we talk about this?
I want to talk
Sinead,
about
no,
it.
I'm not leaving until we talk about this. We really need to talk about this.
He's drunk.
I told you, I seen him with his other girls. When he's drunk, he be doing stuff that he don't even know he be doing. And you can see on the mark on your face that he's been hitting you too. You don't need this. Do you have someone to talk to? What if you don't? You have people like me or people in the community centers to talk to. They can help you to figure out your problem. But you really don't need this. You need to stay away from him. Because I don't want you getting hurt. You feel me?
Okay.
Alright, come here.
Thank you.
Come, let's go.
So great opportunity for discussion with the kids, like what did he do right? Okay, he offered to help her. He stood in between, but he wasn't aggressive with the other, because the other one was a friend of his. He didn't come on like most guys would if they felt they could, say I'm going to tear your head off or something, or threaten him. Instead, they're both friends of his, and he tried to break it up and do the right thing. He offered her resources and such. But as all the teens pick up, you know, he was also quite physically aggressive, because that's kind of the way he is, and he didn't realize it. Not aggressive, but he was, you know, physical. And then when he saw it, he was surprised how much he was doing it. Okay? So like I said, it doesn't always go beautifully, but it's a good example of how it's realistic. I'm going to show you just one more quick one. This is an example, again, of how we do some of the quick training tapes, so the kids have to figure out what is this person showing on the tape. What's this an example of? It'll make sense to you real fast.
Yo, Benny.
Hey,
What
what's
you saying?
saying, Eric? Just chilling, yo.
I got an issue.
What's wrong, bro?
You know that kid Kevin in your biology class?
Yeah, we're partners.
Yeah, he's screwing with my girl.
Dude, are you sure it's that Kevin,
No, it is
man?
that Kevin. Like this Kevin?
Does he know you're dating her?
Yeah, it's all over Facebook. How could he not know?
Bro, how do you know,
I
though?
messaged her twice last night. She sent me screenshots. He asked her for pics, and he asked her to hook up.
I never would have thought he would have done something like that,
Yeah,
yo.
it's stupid. He's barking up the wrong tree.
What are you gonna do, yo?
Okay, he lives down the road from me, right?
Yeah.
His dad just got a brand new Corolla. You and me
Oh.
are gonna go tonight. We're gonna slash all 4 of his tires.
You and me?
Yeah, your family. You're supposed to have my back.
Okay, but listen, I can't today, though, bro. Like, I got a lot of things to do. I
You
got
can't
that.
today.
Like, I'm doing biology with him. He's my partner, bro. Like, he's coming over later. Like, can't slash his tires if he can't, drive over to my house. Like, yo, here's the thing. I'm not doing really well in that class, and I need him, man. Just Just give it a few days. Wait till Friday. Just sleep on it, bro. Like
I
need
sleep on it,
him.
though. He's messing with my girl now.
Bro, I need him to get my markup. That's it. Literally, just wait for that, and then afterwards, man, just text me. We'll talk about it. Just sleep on it for now, bro.
Alright, man,
Don't even worry
whatever.
about it. Yo, it's Kevin, man. Like,
Alright.
relax, yo.
Alright, whatever.
Have a good night, bro.
Peace.
So we stop the tape and ask the kids, what's he showing? So typically, what
Yo,
we try...
man.
Hey, let's get it.
Listen, I got an issue I need you to help me with.
Issue? What do you mean, bro? What's
Where's
going on?
my
Yeah,
friend?
you know Kevin, your biology partner?
Yeah, I know Kevin. I
Little
see him
tiny
every day,
Kevin,
bro.
Yeah. He's screwing with my girl.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Bro, Kevin.
Kevin, messaged her twice last night. Send me pics, hook up.
I'm done with videos. Back. Thank you. So as I say, the whole idea is for the school or school board or district or area to make their own tapes so the kids are their kids, and usually it's grade 11 drama classes that do that. They love to do it. It's easy. They watch a few of these. They make up their own. They use their own language, and it's part of building it into the school as much as as we can. And as I say, the younger kids really like it to see how the older kids do it. The older kids love to show the younger kids how to handle these situations that they know damn well they couldn't handle at that age very well. I'll go over the evidence to date very quickly here in the remaining time. We started off with a randomized trial beginning in 2005, I believe it was, with 1,700 youth in 20 different schools. So it was what they call a cluster randomize. You randomize the schools, and half of them received the program and half of them taught whatever they were teaching in their health classes. Again, they're supposed to be teaching some of this, right? It's in the curriculum. How they do it was totally random at that point. And the first thing the major thing we've discovered, we followed these youth for 2.5 years, till the end of grade 11. They started in the fall of grade 9, and we followed them up to the end of grade 11 to really see what effect we had on dating violence. Being a randomized trial, you have to focus on one major outcome, and we chose dating violence. We found it decreases dating violence, and it increased condom use among sexually active boys and girls. We reported more condom use in that study. The effect was stronger for boys than it was for girls on the dating violence part of it, which always raises issues for everyone. Like, in other words, the boys were reporting less of it than the girls were 2.5 years later, as offenders, not as victims. And I can go on and on about some of that. We've made some modifications to the program since. Girls need the message as much as boys do, but they may need a different message. And those of us in the know, this is real different than domestic violence. And this isn't blaming girls for this. It's that in adolescence, they think it's okay to act like boys because boys seem to have more power than they do in some cases. And they will use this. They think that's a way of gaining popularity. That's one reason that they give us. There's many others. Then we began to look for a deeper understanding of this grade 9 program, and we found that we had a stronger effect, this was secondary analysis, among vulnerable youth. We had data in the beginning of the pretest of kids who were from child welfare, had been in child welfare or reported abuse in their background, self-reported it in this case in grade 9. And we found that those kids who received the program in their schools were doing much better in terms of their positive mental health outcomes 2.5 years later. My belief on that is it makes sense that if kids have grown up with very negative relationships, models, and they receive even a little bit of information about what a healthy relationship looks like, how to achieve the goals that they'd like to achieve, it benefits them. They showed even a stronger effect than kids who hadn't had such background because they had more to grow, I guess. Then we began just 2-3 years ago with a downward extension to grades 7 and 8 All these articles, by the way, I'm happy to provide the slides or anything so you have the references. I don't have time to go through each one of them. But we now have a grade 7 and a grade 8 version. Again, it matches curriculum. The curriculum is just a little bit more basic at that age. And I think it's so important that we start off kids at that age, and that's why we added the mental health as well. We're now working on implementation issues and scale up, something that we psychologists are not particularly well trained in until maybe your generation, not mine. We never knew how to take it off the shelf and get it going again. And that is a challenge, and that's why I really appreciate being here, because you guys are taking up that gauntlet and carrying it. We've looked at the costs, and as most of us know, costs of prevention are well spent. Where am I? Based on reductions in dating violence and violent delinquency, the estimate cost savings done by economists was $1,778 per student. Canadian dollars, okay, so it's $1,400 American, let's say. Although we were at par then, so. Program costs differed based on geography and the phase. So we go up to the Northwest Territory and so forth, and it does cost a lot more up there. And we believe it's a tremendous return on investment. Even the most expensive area that we worked in was a cost of 14-to-1 ratio. And it's about 0.5% of an annual school budget, education budget per student. So it's not expensive to deliver this because educators are there anyway, and they're supposed to be doing this. It's simply a program that they can use instead. So to summarize, the 4,000R has now grown from a single grade 9 program to a menu of options for different stakeholders. The principles remain the same, but we're giving increased attention to mental health and well-being and new opportunities for LGBTQ plus considerations. We continue to grow the evidence base. As I mentioned, there's a big study in Houston now underway. And we're shifting from focusing on effectiveness to focusing on implementation and sustainability. My belief here, in concluding, is that all kids need to be exposed to healthy models and relationships despite whatever positive or negative background they come from. It should be as normal as wearing your bike helmet and going to school to learn about suntan lotions and so forth, which they get in health class. This should be normalized. It should start very early. It should include strong positive messages that don't scare kids. It should help them navigate their relationship pathway throughout adolescence and set them on their way towards knowing what a healthy, positive relationship is like and what to do when you see a friend who's not exhibiting one. This is something I hope that our school boards will pick up for my grandchildren, who will be on the way in about a year, I hope. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. And David's being very modest. Some of the talks I've heard him give and some of his readings actually talk about this as a child abuse prevention program for the next generation. So starting in adolescence to teach healthy relationships can mitigate what we see in the next generations of kids at risk for child welfare involvement through domestic violence, substance use, and mental health problems of their mothers. So he's being modest. Okay, so we're going to start this new thing. So we would like our panel members to come back up for our short panel. Each of these microphones has a on button there, if you guys want to turn those on and kind of test them. And we've taken our slide-on questions that have been voted on by those of you who have used the new technology, and we'll go through some of those, but also I want to invite a few audience members to talk from the microphone, but this way we get to have the questions that most of you asked and voted on addressed by the panel. Do you want to test those just to see if they work? Is that one on, Elizabeth?
Nope, I don't think so.
You test one of those out. So I'm going to start out with one question for everyone. If each of you could talk about this a little bit, and that is engaging parents. So your struggles and triumphs with getting consent, or whether you had to get consent from parents, B, engaging parents in the process and participation through either participating or reinforcing the concepts, and then your stories about mitigating some of the concerns that have been put forward to you either by educators or parents for implementing these programs in schools. So it would be great to hear from each of you.
I'm happy to go first. Can you all hear me okay? I totally cannot tell that this is on. Is this on? Carlos said it was, but I don't know if I believe him. Okay. Is that better? In terms of engaging parents, all of the interventions that I've worked on, which have included several randomized controlled trials for at-risk kids and kids who have engaged in very serious problems, including sex offending behaviors, have been parent-focused. And so the program that I mentioned to you all today, the Responsible Behavior with Younger Children, is kid-focused with parents, but everything else I've done has been parent-focused with kids. And I found parents to be very amenable to these kinds of interventions. A very common question I get often from institutional review boards is, how are you ever going to get parents to want to talk to their kids about sex, or kids to talk to their parents about sex? And we did a sexting study where we asked kids about sending nude and semi-nude pictures of themselves to other kids, which is a normative behavior at this point, actually. Not going away, I would say. And we also talked to parents and we talked to educators, all in separate groups. And the kids were very clear. They want their parents talking with them about these behaviors. They don't want their parents telling them not to do it, but they want their parents to talk with them about limit setting, to talk about the rules. Parents know their kids are engaging in a lot of these behaviors. They're not surprised, and they're not scared of it. They may not feel comfortable because they lack the words, because they, too, have not had a lot of great role models for how to do this. But I have not, I've just simply not had an experience where parents were unwilling to be involved. And even when parents start out concerned or nervous, we've seen them come around pretty quickly by just treating them well and recognizing those concerns and trying to address them head on. So I don't mean to sound Pollyannish, but the fact of the matter is parents are handling every other kind of issue that their kids have, and they handle these too. They just sometimes, I think, need a little more help making overt what's covert, and a little assistance with where do the topics need to go. If you never think your kid is going to engage a younger kid in sex, then you're not going to talk to him or her about it. Once the idea is introduced, then we don't think it's going to be very difficult to bring parents right on board with those conversations.
Well, our experience was really sort of interesting in the New York City public schools with informed consent. Because the Department of Education did not want to give us the addresses of the children. So we had second and third graders bringing home in their backpacks informed consents in either English or Spanish. So to cut to the chase, and we sent them several times. I think the last time was in day glow orange, so that it stood out in their backpack. But then what happened was we talked to the teachers about it, and the teachers joined in with us with meeting the parents when they dropped the children off at school or picked the children back up at school. And in the classrooms where we were able to have the teachers involved, the return of the consent forms just skyrocketed. So we tried, different things over the course of the study, but as soon as we figured out the key was really engaging the parents to help us with the teachers. As I said, I actually had to go back to the Board of Ed IRB because we had over-enrollment. And I had to, so it went from not having, worrying to being, whoa, we're going to go. We went over our numbers. We had hoped for like 375. We ended up enrolling 492, but I had consents from many others. Then I had to send a letter home saying, thank you, but we will not be putting your child in the study. So it was really, the teachers and the guidance counselors were just amazing fans of the study, and the parents did want to know, the outcome